Like Chuck was saying earlier about we do get our sin in the way of the flow. And a lot of times that'll happen with journaling. If you start this process, you're looking for vision, you're tuning into the flow, you start writing down what you see, and you'll get amazed at some of the stuff that God gives you. He'll tell you how much He loves you, how much He thinks you're precious, and He's chosen you for this and chosen you for that, and laying out all the promises and the great things that He has for you. I've done this personally. I've got caught up in, oh my gosh, this is amazing. I can't believe this is coming out on paper. But by doing that, then I stop if there's anything else that He wants to tell me. And so if you do start to do the journaling process and you start writing it down, don't flip out about what you're reading, because you can always go back and question God about it later. Say, did you really mean this? Or how do I do this? Or whatever. But don't stop the flow once you're in there, because you don't know what God has revealed. If you can just sit still a little while longer. And it's by our faith that we can actually sit still that long when we ask the Spirit to come and help us.
Yeah, it's really funny when you go, are you sure, Lord? Yes, Lord, are you sure?
Yeah, because I had this, are you sure? Are you kidding? And He's like, no, just keep going. So, yeah, he reveals Himself in many different ways, and it's a really great way to learn to know Him better, in addition to reading the Bible. Because the Bible tells you so much, but then He can give you more revelation about it, too, when you start to seek Him in that way. Which kind of leads into
why you write.
Why you write.
Journaling.
I have this.
Here, right here, it says it. And then God answered, write this, write what you see. Write it out in big block letters so that it can be read on the run. The reason that we write is when you get into that flow, you don't cut God off. You just write, and you'll just write until you're done. First day that it hooked on, and it went 3.5 pages. That's how I use. I'm not a writer, you can ask Cassie. And it was choppy, hard to keep up a little bit, but God's patient, and He'll bring back everything that He wants you to write down and remember. So writing here, what you see, write what you see. So basically, when you hear those spontaneous thoughts, you start writing them down on paper. Don't worry about your spelling. Don't worry about punctuation. Don't worry about if you miss a word, because you'll go back and you'll reread it, and then your analytical mind will place the words in that you need to have. But it comes out of the creative side of your brain, which is the right side of your brain. So writing it down, just writing it through until you're done, and then go back and read it, and then you're going to get what God says. And that's what and this is so important, because I'm sure how many people have had questions from God. Am I going in the right direction? Am I doing the right things? Is there something I need to know in advance? And simply, if you would have got down, I don't know how, it depends on how you want to know. I get on my hands and knees, and that's when I journal. And if you get quiet, you'll hear what God has to say. He'll lead you where He wants you to go. And He'll tell you the things that you need to know. I'm sure people have heard it before. Your random thoughts. There's another warning God gives you. I mean, you're just, something you thought of and then it happened. That's God speaking. He's telling you before it happens. He's giving you a warning. So writing it down also gives you proof that God spoke it. It builds your faith.
Right, so basically, to wrap up all the steps, we can simplify it in this statement. Hearing God's voice is as simple as quieting yourself down, fixing your eyes on Jesus, tuning into spontaneity, and writing down whatever comes to you. It keeps it really simple. It's just a 4-step process. It keeps it real, real simple. Now, the last part of the scripture up there. Hang on. Sorry.
And then I'm going to show you right here where Jesus did the same thing. And but Jesus went, this is in John 8, and it's the first part of John 8, 1 through 11. It's about Jesus went to the Mountain of Olives at dawn. He appeared again in the temple courts, where all the people gathered around Him, and He sat down to teach them. The teachers of the law and the Pharisees brought a woman in caught in adultery. They made her stand before the group and said to Jesus, "Teacher, this woman was caught in the act of adultery. And the law of Moses commanded us to stone such women. Now what do you say?" They were using this question as a trap in order to have a basis for accusing Jesus. And then here's the part. He does this twice. But Jesus bent down and started to write on the ground with his finger. When they kept on questioning him, he straightened up and said to them, "If any one of you is without sin, let him be the first to throw a stone at her." And then here's the second part. And again, he stooped down and wrote on the ground. At this, those who heard began to go away, one at a time. Older ones first, until Jesus was left with the woman still standing there. Jesus straightened up and asked her, "Woman, where are they? Has no one condemned you?" "No one, sir," she said. "Then neither do I condemn you," Jesus declared. "Go now and leave your life of sin." So there's your example of Jesus. Jesus was a man just like us, and he lived his life like we did. Even though he was the Son of God, he wasn't sitting with God in heaven. He was here.